So there were two friends, who lived in this beautiful village. And this village was blessed with only 60, 70 families, small village. But the geographical location of this village was very amazing. It was at a crossroad of 10 other villages. If anybody had to go from one village to another, they have to cross this village. And in old days, there was nothing to drive or something. People had to walk. So people would walk from one village to this village. Obviously, it'll be a few hours by the time they reach. They will take shelter, find a place to stay, and then the next morning they will go to the next village. Now, the water available, for all the farmers in the village was good for farming, cleaning, but not for drinking. It didn't have that quality. And everybody was into farming pretty much. But these two friends, when they grow up to become adults, their father used to do this job. They took up the same profession. They would take two buckets and they would, travel 3 kilometers uphill. Because 3 kilometers uphill, there was a valley. There was a what? Yes, valley. And this valley had beautiful, filtered, amazing, great quality of water. So they'll take two buckets, they'll go uphill, they'll fill it and bring it down and sell it to the villagers and make money in the process. So every single day they will do 6 trips. They will take breaks in between and a lunch break. And with 6 trips, they will make enough to have a living. They grew up together. They had, great memories together. They walked together. They had a lot of good time, In their mid-20s, they got married. By their mid-30s, they had 2 kids. And when they're approaching, their late 30s, they started questioning this fact that how long they can do this. Because this is really tolling on the labor they do for the last 20 years. They've been doing it, and they can probably do it for another 10, 15 years. After that, there's no chance they can do it. And if they're relying on their kids to take care of them, it's a big risk because most kids growing up, they're not, doing this where they're taking care of their parents. So they kept asking this question, what they can do differently that they can be financially sound. And after many days of thinking, one day, it was around midnight, this friend, who was thinking, had this great idea. And for him, it was so great that he couldn't help with excitement. He went to his friend's house, which was next door, and he knocked the door, and his friend came out and he's like, what happened? What happened? Who needs our help? He says, nobody needs our help. It's all good. You're going to hear out to my idea because I've got a great idea. This can change our life completely. And this friend, was sleepy. He said, can you not wait till morning? It's okay. We can get to this idea tomorrow morning. He says, no, listen up. And he goes like, okay, tell me if you're so excited. Okay. He said, we're going to dig from the valley all the way to the village. And because the pressure will build, because the valley is uphill, we'll put the pipes in. And the water will easily flow, from the pipes into the village. And we'll put a tab, we'll lock it up. And the copywriting, because we did all the work, will belong to us. And then we will sell water, not just to our villages, but every passerby, which are many every day. And we will become very rich within a matter of just few weeks to few months. And this friend, was sleepy. He said, how many drinks did you have this evening? And the friend went, no, I'm sober. Check me. I know what I'm talking about. This is a great vision I have, and we can make it a reality if you come along, on this journey with me. And this friend who was sleepy, he said, you know what, go to sleep. I'll see you tomorrow. Then the next morning they meet, and the friend wants to convince him, but he's not convinced. He says, stupid idea. You got to put me in pain, and I'm not coming along. After 1 month of convincing his friend, he had no choice but he had to give up, not on his dreams, but on his friend. And he went on digging on his own and started living on his saving. After 2 months of digging, he became this character in the entire village. Every time he would pass by, people would look at him and they were like, the stupid, pipeline guy. The stupid guy, is digging for no reason. His wife was not liking it. The kids, were not liking it. And everybody was, under his case that give up this stupid idea, get back to what you're doing, and we'll be happy. Just the way we were in the beginning. But he needed, this to be completed. So he kept asking, for many days that how can I make this possible? And one day, he realizes that 2 years back, he met this amazing guy. People call him the wisdom guy. He lives, in the jungle. You got to go in a special way to find him. It will take probably 3 to 4 hours to discover him. And once you meet him, you got to give quality time. He'll go through a brainstorming session with you. And then at the end of the session, he will probably charge you some decent money. But when you come out of the session, you will be much more enriched, much more, knowledgeable, much more experienced. So one day, it takes this risk, takes this little bit of saving, goes and meets his wisdom guy. They go through a 2 hours of brainstorming session. At the end of 2 hour session, this wisdom guy looks at him and he says, how committed you are, on a scale of 0 to 10 to make this work? He says, 10 out of 10. He says, I won't be here. He says, okay, I believe you. He says, are you going to be accountable where you need to report to me every 3 months about your progress? Because then I will help you more further on the journey. He says, yes, I will. I will travel all the way and come and give you, some inputs about my work. And he says, Are you coachable if I give you some ways of doing this? He says, yes, I'm open. He says, okay, go back home and convince your wife and your family to come along on this journey because you cannot do this alone. You need minimum your family to come along. It would be great if you can get more people, but minimum your family. And all your entire family needs to cut down on your lifestyle. You have a 2-bedroom house, everybody moves into one room, and that one room spare, you tell your wife to give it to people who are in the evening looking for shelter. They're passing by. Your village is a very blessed village. They need some place to shelter. Tell your wife to cook for them. They will give you some money in return. And the 6 trips you've been doing for the last 20 plus years, don't give it up completely. You need to do minimum 2 trips on most days, if not every day. And in the other time, just take. Don't go off your work completely. This is okay. He goes back to his home. It's not easy, but he brings his wife along, and the kids are not liking it. They cut down on the lifestyle. They make some money through giving shelter. He makes some money through the part-time job, 2 trips most days, and the rest 70% time, no birthday, no wedding, nothing, no weekends. He just keeps digging. And in 23 months and 24 days, he completes the entire digging. And the pipes is put in, the pipeline is built up. He sits there, sells water to his villagers and others, and makes money. And within a few months, he became the richest person, not just for the village, but for the entire province. But there's a sad part to the story. Would you like to know? The happy part, you heard it, right? Would you like to know the sad part of the story? His friend ran out of business. And I hope you realize his intention was not to get his friend out of business. His intention was to make his life better and his friend's life better. But he never believed in the vision and he gave up on his dream. So if you are building your pipeline, I would say congratulations. Stay on the path. And if you're not building your pipeline, I would say think about it. No matter who you are, you've got to work on your dreams and your aspirations and build it up because it's a risk, but you've got to do the work. If you do the work, the pipeline will be built up.